So what is going on, guys? This is the Ninja Movies back again for a brand new VHS update. Now, I suppose you weren't expecting to see me so soon, and neither was I really. In all honesty, I should have done an out and about this past weekend because I struck gold. I went a little bit further out of my rotation for op shopping this week, and one of the particular op shops that I visited, my god, I think I picked up something like 15 or 16 tapes then and there. So this is sort of a spur of the moment update. As per standard, if you guys have seen any of these films and you want to let me know your thoughts of them down below, definitely do so. So I'm thinking more or less I'm going to split this update into two sections, Disney and non-Disney. The particular op shop that I was just mentioning, honestly, somebody must have just given in their VHS collection and there was a lot of Disney. Some that I had, but a lot that I did not have. So let's start off with non-Disney, shall we? So this is the section of non-Disney. As I said, this is going to be a larger update, so bear with me here. Once again, the standard rule, the way I run my channel and my collection is if it's cheap enough and it seems interesting, I'm going to give it a go. If it has an actor or actress that, you know, has a famous name to them, or at least, you know, an interesting premise, 50 cents, $1, $2, whatever I'm purchasing the videotape for, I'm going to give it a go. So the first film up is a Kevin Sullivan production, and this is the film Anne of Green Gables. Sort of like a watercolor front there. I actually really like the imagery there. So this one I purchased for $2. I actually was interested. I do have a small Canadian fan base on my YouTube channel here. Let me know down below if you're actually living in Canada and you've been watching the VHS videos. So this says Canadian actress Megan Follows and Tony Award winner Colleen Dewhurst. I'll just quickly read the review on the back. It said, Anne of Gables is quite simply charming, which I like a charming film. It also says it's beautifully photographed, skillfully written and directed, and superbly acted. Coming in at 178 minutes. It's rated G for general audiences. The tape is in good condition. Have you guys seen this? Let me know what you think of it down below. The next one up I got for only 50 cents here. In great condition here. This is actually the 25th anniversary edition of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. There was two versions of this particular tape at the same op shop, but I went with what I thought was the better cover art. I actually have seen the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory maybe once or twice in my lifetime. I grew up with the Johnny Depp remake, but even that film I would have only seen a handful of times. I actually remember playing the video game on the PlayStation 2 a lot more than watching the film itself. I think it's time for a revisit. I've heard that this is, you know, hailed as a classic for a reason. A lot of people thought Gene Wilder, you know, just could never be replaced, and that's why they didn't really like the Michael Jackson-esque Johnny Depp remake. I guess it's each to their own, depends what you grew up on, but I will revisit this at some stage. 50 cents, and the tape is in good condition. Sipping on this coffee, I'm not gonna lie, it's like middle of the afternoon when I'm recording this right now. I felt myself being the biggest sponge on my couch. I was actually watching Elvira, of all things, on YouTube. I'd never watched an episode before, so I got curious. I did not realize it was going to be that type of sitcom-esque show, but I felt myself wasting away watching Elvira, so I'm like, let's film a VHS update. The next one up here is actually a part of a collection. It is the Barbra Streisand collection. And funnily enough, I believe I actually have some other tapes in this particular collection. As you can see, the collection sort of looks like this. It's very, very feminine, but it is what it is. We have the film The Way We Were. Once again, Barbra Streisand, recognizable name, Robert Redford. I have heard of him, not too familiar with him, but I think this one was a $2 tape. Recognizable names, I'm happy to give it a go at some stage. I'm not sure, is it a romantic comedy, is it a drama? I really don't know. I feel like because of the border, I'm just going with that sort of presumption, but it could be completely wrong. The Way We Were, have you guys seen it? Let me know your thoughts down below. And once again, tape is in great condition for $2. This next one up is actually an Australian film. I have mentioned on the channel ever since I watched the movie The Dish, which is actually one of my most positively received reviews I've done on the channel, so thank you guys for that. I've decided, you know, as an Australian man, I've grown up a lot of my life really sort of knocking Australian cinema without giving it enough credit, enough of a go. So the film we have here is actually called The Shirley. I'm going with that. The Shirley. It says it's based on the novel by Darcy Nyland. Once again, I'm probably just butchering all these names. It's starring Brian Brown, Noni Hazelhurst and Rebecca Smart. The font on here is awful over this grass type background. This was 50 cents and I just thought it says it came out in 1987. It's a South Australian film. It only runs for 108 minutes. I just thought I need a bit more Australian cinema in the collection. If you guys out there, any Aussies that have seen this back in the day, let me know if it's worth a watch. Now this one, I don't know if this is going to appeal to my audience, but a lot of people out there are huge fans of Elvis. I would straight up be lying to you guys if I said I knew anything really relatively about Elvis. I obviously really enjoyed the Baz Luhrmann film as I got to learn a lot more about the man he was behind the cameras and behind the fame. He starred in many a film, and I actually have probably the most disgusting titled one here, and this is Kissing Cousins. It's actually part of the Elvis commemorative collection here. It's looking like, does Elvis play two particular characters in this film? I have no idea. It's just going to be an interesting watch. I want to see if this man can act at, whatsoever. Have you guys seen Kissing Cousins? Are you guys fans of Elvis? Let me know. Moving on from that, we have a MGM tape here. This one is starring Spencer Tracy, Joanne Burnett, and Elizabeth Taylor, and this is the film Father of the Bride. Coming in at 93 minutes. I believe it says it's a black and white film, but all the images suggest otherwise, but I guess we'll see. It is a 1950 film, so that's a very big possibility that it is black and white, not that it bothers me at all. I have nothing really to say. It was 50 cents, as you can see there. It's in great condition. I knew the name Spencer Tracy, so I thought I'd give it a go. This next one here we bought for $2, starring Julia Roberts, Susan Sarandon, and Ed Harris, and this is the film Stepmom. Stepmom, obviously here in Australia, we don't spell it with an O. For anyone out there, we spell it with a U, so I would say the word mum, but you say mom. Stepmom. Once again, recognize the actresses' names in this. I'm actually a huge fan of Susan Sarandon. Have you guys seen this? Is it a film worth watching? Let me know down below. $2. This one's in great condition. Obviously a bit more of a newer film on the VHS. This one coming out in '99. Running at 125 minutes. Columbia Pictures Stepmom. Have you seen it? Let me know. We have an absolute classic here. This one is a part of the Humphrey Bogart collection, and this is called The Big Sleep. When I was picking up these tapes at the op shop, I always sort of get comments because, while you guys are supporting me, we all know it's 2025. Some people just are like, why are you collecting these tapes, man? Like, what's really going on here? But this is the one that I picked up, and she was looking through my little collection that I, grabbed for myself, and she's like, this is a good one. She's like, are you actually watching these? And I said yes. I collect these, I watch these, I don't sell them off. This is all for my own personal interest. And she said I have to check out The Big Sleep. 50 cents, black and white, running at 148 minutes. This film is from 1946, I believe. It's rated 4 stars. I know the name Humphrey Bogart, but I don't know, I'm not real familiar with his work. Obviously, these are some early day films, much before my time, but I'm keen to check this film out at some stage in the future. Now, this next one I picked up for 50 cents is in immaculate condition, stars Harvey Keitel and Peter O'Toole. I had never heard of this film. I honestly read the blurb on the back of this. I thought it sounded mad interesting, but my partner, Siobhan, who's been in several of my videos, she actually said she grew up watching this, so gets me even more excited for the film Fairy Tale, A True Story. In 1917, 2 English girls photographed fairies in their garden, and doing so prompted the world to ask, do fairies exist? Now, obviously, when it says a true story, that's a Hollywood bait, but it's an interesting, somewhat true story if it is anyway. Just the story of, people at that stage in life. If you get a picture and you're like, there's fairies in this goddamn picture, who's really there to dispute it? It's really just up in the air. So I think it's going to be a fun film. Harvey Keitel, Peter O'Toole, some names that I recognize. And I really like this embossed lettering on the film Fairy Tale there. So pretty cool little VHS for 50 cents. Now, this one is not the most exciting title, but by far one of the most beautiful clamshells, like most mint condition ones I have in my collection. And this is actually a roadshow release there. This is 1988, the year on video, as I'm trying to read it backwards to you guys. Once again, embossed on the front. Just look at how clean this clamshell is. Like, I don't think you could get a better looking clamshell. 50 cents. Basically, I feel like this is all the big events of 1988, but more so focusing on, of course, what happened here in Australia. I am trying to always collect road shows. If I see them out and about, they're very highly sought after. And for 50 cents, I just thought, like, you're not going to go past this. Even if I don't watch it, which I will because I'm just interested in history. Yeah, just immaculate condition. Like, this thing has probably only been watched once. And now in the year 2025, I bought it for 50 cents. So we're down to the last 4 films that are not Disney here. I say the last 4 simply for the fact that I bought all these just today, just prior to this video. The first one up here is starring young Dustin Hoffman and the actor Jon Voight, and this is Midnight Cowboy. Once again, I have no real idea, recognize the actors, especially, you know, Dustin Hoffman. This is actually the Oscar winner of Best Picture in 1969. I did not see that until just now. So $2 I picked this up for. It runs for 113 minutes. It's in great condition. It actually boasts the review of 2 thumbs up. It stands the test of time. Midnight Cowboy. Have you seen it? Let me know your thoughts down below. Finally, a film I actually have seen. It has been many years, but this was one of the very first... Sort of when Blu-ray was coming out, it was a spectacle film. People wanted you to come watch The Master and the Commander. Simply just because I'm sure it was a visually impressive movie for the time and it sort of showed the capabilities of the Blu-rays. But in saying that, when did Blu-ray come out? Probably around like 2008. It's been about that amount of time since I've seen the film. I was younger, so I'm keen to get new eyes on it. As you can see, $3, one of the more expensive tapes I picked up, but in great condition, as it should be since this is a later release on the VHS. Have you guys seen The Master and Commander? Let me know your thoughts down below. So I have talked at extensive length about collecting sporting tapes, yada, yada, yada. You guys are probably sick of it. Boxing, other than the AFL, which is Australian Football League, boxing is by far my favorite sport. I would always, you know, I just always want to learn more about boxing. So we actually have a boxing best tape here of Jack Dempsey. A full life portrait of the boxing legend. So this is rated G. I guess it's a documentary film showcasing his fights, his career. I'm really excited to watch this at some stage in the future. And the last film I picked up today is actually a film starring Walter Matthau, Carol Burnett, and John Stamos, of all people. And this is the film Love After Death. And of course, it's boasting this horrible looking big box. It's in great condition. This film I simply picked up for the fact that it had actors I recognize. I don't think I own a single film starring John Stamos until now. So we're here. Have you seen it? Let me know down below. So as you can see, Disney on Disney. If you're a Disney fan, you're in for a treat right now. It's no secret, I do my best to collect anything Disney. Originally, I started the idea of collecting mainly Disney because at the time, it was sort of seen as the most sought after VHS tapes. Like, Disney always had this thing with the vault where they'd put out a release of a film and then pull that release and do a different edition of it. That's sort of just the backstory, but now, you know, I just genuinely collect them. If I see that there's a hole in my collection, it's a movie that I do not have, I'll pick it up regardless of condition. But it just so happens to be that all of these are in like pristine condition. I couldn't be happier. These were all 50 cents a piece. And once again, I sort of choked it. I should have done an out and about for you guys. It's been a minute. I promise I'll do out and about soon. Starting off is actually not a film. This is actually just Disney Video Parade. The Orphan's Picnic, odd choice of title, but I'm guessing just some old Mickey and Friends type cartoons. Just some vintage episodes of the TV show. Well, unless I think the film Key Largo is a Disney film, this might have just slipped my vision here. So once again, another Humphrey Bogart film. Edward G. Robinson, Lauren Bacall. This is one of my few tapes that say not for sale. Sorry, buddy. I got this thing for 50 cents. I'm keen to check this one out. Once again, Humphrey Bogart. Several films in the collection now. I need to get more familiar with his work. Let me know what you think of this one down below. And back to the Disney. My apologies. So this one I had picked up thinking that I didn't own, but my dumbass right in front of me owns it. So now I have 2 copies of The Sword and the Stone. I'm not going to lie, my newer copy for 50 cents, it's in better condition, so we're not going to complain. And surprisingly enough, I just prefer the artwork on this one. It's much more simplistic, and it doesn't have this horrid yellow case. I'm not even sure if this was how it originally came, but The Sword and the Stone, I've watched it once or twice in my lifetime. It's a fine film. I really like the Merlin character in it, but it's just not one that I go back to time after time. Now this next one I definitely do not own. I have not seen a couple of these Disney ones I have not seen in the wild ever, so this was quite a haul. We have the film The Rescuers, which I believe just recently I picked up The Rescuers Down Under, which is by far a fan favorite of mine. I love the film The Rescuers Down Unders, but I do not actually believe I have seen the original. I know it's a crime. I actually hadn't seen The Rescuers Down Under until much later in life. My partner showed it to me. This is one I need to check out, and for 50 cents, you know, it's not mint condition, but it's decent. It's a bit faded on the side, but it's one that you don't see out and about too often. A underrated Disney film, one that when it comes up in discussion around at least my friend groups, a lot of people have never even heard of this film, and this is the Walt Disney classic Basil the Great Mouse Detective. If you like Sherlock Holmes, like it's just Sherlock Holmes the mouse mystery, if you will. I thoroughly enjoy this. It's not too musical. It's kind of at the point where like Disney was doing a little bit darker in their children animation. You know, it's not too hectic, but this is a darker Disney film in my personal opinion. I just love the plot. I think it's a fun movie. I actually watched this one earlier in the year as a rewatch, so you know, this is actually an opinion that is coming from within the last year. It still holds up, one of my favorite Disney films. Next one up, I did not own in my collection, but you know, Disney loved, especially on the video, they loved a home release sequel, and this is one that is not going to get watched probably ever, but to complete the collection we have Cinderella 2 Dreams Come True. I hate how well that rhymed, but obviously, once again, I'm not the demographic for this sort of princess film, and also just with the drop in quality of animation and, you know, change in voice acting and rah that they do with these direct-to-video sequels, it's not one that I need to waste my time on, but it's in good condition. For 50 cents, it'd be rude not to. Now, this next film actually sparked an idea to me, and it's been a while since I've done any list videos, so if you guys are interested in this, definitely leave a comment down below. But I was thinking of doing my top 5 Disney films. I did my top 5 Pixar films many months ago, and that's still, you know, it gets decent views, decent traction, so I thought I haven't really ever talked about it. One of my favorite, definitely in the top 3 Disney films I've ever watched, and that is the film Treasure Planet. Of course, the one I love to death, just, you know, bombed hard. It had Joseph Gordon-Levitt voicing the main character of Jim, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I don't know if I've actually said it on the channel, but he's in my top 5 or top 4. He's on my Mount Rushmore of favorite actors, and you know, it's the story of Treasure Planet, but it's out in outer space. Like, what's not to love? I thought this is a fantastic movie. Actually picking it up again makes me want to rewatch it, and yeah, if you guys want a Disney list, let me know down below. But immaculate condition. I've never seen Treasure Planet out on tape. For 50 cents, even the spine's not faded. This one's, you know, just pristine. Moving on from that, a Disney film I have not seen in many years. It's a part of the Renaissance, which I think is Disney's best period. The Disney Renaissance, they were just making hit after hit. It's kind of where I thought it was the most peak, where even though they were musical, the songs were just way better, man. And this is one that I didn't watch too much, but I'm keen to check out again, and this is The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I'm actually interested in this corner here. I just noticed saying a limited release. If anyone knows what that means, and you know, if this is a special variant or whatever, once again, I originally started buying Disney tapes for that reason, because there was so many different versions, and you know, sometimes you could strike gold. I don't sell any of my tapes now. I mean, look at me, for goodness sake. It's definitely a hobby, so just interested in knowing what the limited release means. Is this a favorite for anyone? Let me know down below. Now, this next one up, I simply picked up just for the fact that while I did grow up with Winnie the Pooh, my partner is a huge fan of Winnie, and I'll pick up any tape featuring him just for, you know, our kids in the future. And this is the Book of Pooh, Stories from the Heart. This is probably, you know, this looks like puppetry, and I feel like vaguely I remember a show like this when I was growing up, so I'm going to say this is a late 90s to early 2000s rendition of Winnie the Pooh. Nothing crazy, it's in good condition. Will I watch it? Probably not. Once again, not really the demographic for this right now, but we're collecting for the sake of collecting. Only 2 more tapes here, guys. This one in particular actually reminds me so much of the discussion I was talking about of Mary Poppins, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. A film, once again, that is connected in my mind for some reason, and that is the film Bedknobs and Broomsticks. Bedknobs and Broomsticks, my apologies. A movie that I do not remember enjoying. I don't know what's wrong with me that I just didn't like any of this type of film that I'm talking about, but I am picking them up nonetheless to give them another go, more or less. I will not pick up Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I just know I won't like it. Bedknobs and Broomsticks, though, are sort of that mix of animation, live action, a bit Roger Rabbit-like, but done way worse. I'll check it out at some stage. I just remember watching it a couple times as a kid and thinking, it's okay. So, but for 50 cents, it's a Disney tape. This one I definitely have not seen out in the wild, so had to get it regardless. And the final film of the update, I don't believe I have it in my collection yet. Once again, a part of the Renaissance period, and this is actually in the same sort of boat as The Hunchback, where I didn't watch it a lot as a kid, but I would like to revisit it, and that is the film Tarzan. In great condition there, as you can see. A classic story. I love the stickers for the Tarzan storybook offer. Yeah, man, I'm pretty stoked with that. I think that's a good find for 50 cents. It's got a little sticker saying security protected. As per usual, thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. Leave this video a like, add it to your favorites. Subscribe if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it. And with that said, guys, get ready for the next installment of the Wheel video at some point this week. This is the Ninja Movies, signing out. Adios. Scoop.